Oh, lots of noises. Uh, we're live on the twitch.tv/the And we got bananas in chat from Floyd, Minerana, and Becca. Thank you so much. It lets me know that we're live. It lets me know that we're live. What are we doing today? Going to work on the Evil Empire. And in order to do that, I need to grab my beacon and go somewhere else. Yes, that's what I need to do. Makes total sense, doesn't it? Working on the Evil Empire, going somewhere else. Just a normal day in Minecraft. We were lurking with the bananas ready, weren't we, says Minerana. Well, I appreciate you lurking. In the shadows with the bananas. Sounds very strange. I need one of those. Some of these can go back for now. This one doesn't really have a home. Okay, that's down here. And by the laws of deduction, I am left with one and it goes there. Hey, it's good to see you, says Fenris. Welcome, Fenris. We are playing on the Hermitcraft again. And I'll want some rockets for where we're going. Long live the Evil Empire, says Saint Knave. That's the attitude. That's the attitude. The Stridgy says, was watching the Slime Farm episode when the notification came up. Cool. Don't forget to finish watching it. Feed the YouTube algorithm. Feed it. God, me and words. May School, thank you for 78 months, my dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Upping the counter, yeah. It keeps on going up. Kane I Am, thank you for the Prime. Finreal Ways, thank you for 5 months of support. Appreciate it. All hail our dark evil overlord, says Becca. That's the attitude. That's the attitude. Let's see some more Evil X faces in chat. I mean, Evil X is rocking it. Okay, I saw on Hermitcraft Reddit they were sharing who's made what amount of diamonds, right? So I went and had a look, and Evil X has made over 6 stacks of diamonds. It was like 350. 300 of... Wrong portal! I think... Ah, it's beyond. This way. Okay. So yeah, Evil X is rocking it. I mean, the derp coin is real. Right? It's making moolah. It's taking off. What's poppin', Chief? Evil X made MLM for the Striders to sell derp coin. I don't know what MLM is, but the Save the Strider coin is selling as well. Now, is this as simple as me just going in there with my pick? I think it is. I'm after the red coral stuff. This stuff specific. Actually, no, not that stuff specifically. The you see, I don't know if I should scoop everything up or pick these ones out, because I actually want those, and when you break the blocks, I don't think they pop off, right? Yeah, you see, it didn't pop off. Now, that is actually the one that I really want, okay? And it seems to be the one... Does this stuff work with bone meal? God. I have played this game for too long. I can't remember anything about it anymore. Let's check it out. Boobly boop shoop de doop boop boop. I don't know why I decided to make that sound, but I did. Okay, so we know we can make... See... Wait, did it just make the coral as well? Right, so it makes them when you're in the reef, and that is the one that I want. I'm thinking maybe we make a little contraption. Let's try putting this on some coral blocks. Now that did indeed produce the pink one there. The issue with this, is that I have to scoop the items up myself, don't I? If I break the block that this is on, we lose it. It destroys. So when it comes to collection, there's only... You have to automate it with the player in mind, essentially. I'm just wondering if we should build a little coral farm out here today. I like doing a little bit of redstone engineering. We could do it live, you know? Let's do it live! What do you reckon, peeps? Live, spontaneous redstone? And lag spikes, apparently. But we are building the Evil Empire, says Becca. This is for the Evil Empire. We need the red fiery corals. And the quickest way to get them might be with a contraption, actually. Oh, that's another point. Like, although I'm not going to need a crazy amount, like, the quickest way to get them is with a contraption. So I'm just contraptioning in my brain now to save us time, because that'll definitely save us time. I don't have a... I don't think I've got enough Nautilus shells for a conduit yet. Let's go and check. Bobbing up and down. We're bobbing up and down. We've got noises. Emmylou Dee-Doo, thank you for 58 months. Mummy Tommy, here for free. Been watching the videos while you're on a 4-hour bus ride. Wow, that is a... Oh, do you know what? I could not do it, like, be in a vehicle for that long. The Caesar, thank you for 16 months. I'm doing good today. Thanks for asking. I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely baking right now in here. Must just be a little hotter, a little muggier today. And I would like... What did I want to look for? Valuables. Nautilus shells, only 5. Right. So, I think we kind of want to build this thing at the surface level, which means that the redstone that powers the pistons can be out of the water. No, we're not going to use pistons. Right. I keep thinking I'm going to use pistons. So, we're going to have a platform in front of us, under the water. We need to automate the bone meal. So the thing we would have to use is observers. I think I know how to do this, okay? I think I know how we're going to do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make this a 7x7. So 1, 2, 3. Over here. 1, 2, 3. Get a nice big old square over here. Don't know if the colour influences it at all, but we're just going to get rid of that. Next thing will be to put the bone meal dispenser in the middle of it, and it will need to face upwards. Is that 7 or 6? Somehow I've counted this out wrong. Whoopsie. Okay, 3 on either side. 1, 2, 3. That's... Yeah, and then there's 3 blocks there. Okay, I thought I'd done it twice for a second. I thought I got it wrong twice. This will also prevent too-tall seagrass from growing, which might, in turn, mean we get more of the other stuff. But I don't know, and I'm not going to test it. We just need a dispenser to be placed... Whoopsie. I mean, that's one of the ones I want to keep. Needs to be placed there. Now, when it comes to underwater wiring, we're going to have to use observers. And guess what? Oh, I probably don't have enough. I don't think I've got what it takes to craft them down here. Dang it! What other ways are there of chaining redstone signals underwater, right? I guess I could space these out a little bit and put some droppers with them. So, in order to make this work, we're going to use droppers as well. Ooh! That one has been nullified. Okay, so... It's facing the wrong way. That's exactly what I needed to know. Then we have a dropper. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Totally experimental design here, you know. Don't even know if it's going to work out. Okay, then that would be a dropper, well, dropper, observer, and then a block. Which would also actually need to be a dropper now that I think about it. I want that to face downwards. For the sake of neatness. Wrong block. And let's get some fresh air. It needs to be more evil.
Evilness is lacking in this stream.
Says Becca. I guess it is a little bit. Jin McCang, thank you so much for the 3 months. We got Pinky Space Fox here with the Prime and Alex Eleni here for 2 months. Appreciate it. I got a hot cup of tea here, by the way, peeps. It's very nearly ready to start drinking. Isn't that wonderful news? Oh, it's the best news you've heard all year. I know. I know. It's time to celebrate and rejoice. Okay, so what we'll do on these end bits... This might not work quite how I thought it was going to. I will go side to... No, I'm going to be under the water. Right, then we'll go here. Yeah, I'm going to need to stick my head up to breathe every now and then if we're not going to have a wassamadoodle, right? A classic wassamadoodle. A conduit. Cole Mick, thank you for 7 months of support. Appreciate it, my dude. And we got Dog Breath 48. Now, why do you have dog breath? Jeez. Thank you for the subscription. Appreciate it. Hey, and Akaman Barakab. Thank you for subscribing, dude. You need a thingy-majig. Oh, of course, there's a thingy-majig. Okay. So that's pretty much most of this done. But what we need is not in there. And knowing me, I probably... Oh, wood. Wood would be the way to do it. Would you know it? Wood is what we need. So, oh, we got some gifted subs from Dog Breath. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate it. I'll take back my comments about your doggy breath. Oh, I thought they could be waterlogged. So we got... Oh, that's quite smooth moving, isn't it? All right. Tiff Apocalypse. Jardalino. Matt the Want. D-Man At. MSN Tech Guy. Dritz Gaming. Gamer Fred. Retro Elf. MP Games. And Vampire Husky. Y'all been gifted subs. Be sure to say thanks to Dog Breath in chat. Appreciate it, Dog Breath. Thank you for supporting our community. Appreciate it ever so much. Right, we now just got to put some meal of the bones in there. And then we find out if this was a big waste of time or not. Okay, so that's the one in the middle. That's where this stuff goes. Then we need to clear... Right, now here's the thing. The inventory's getting a bit kerfuffled, isn't it? Oh, I had stone in my inventory. That's what I was thinking of when I was thinking of making those trapdoors. Right, so we'll throw away some of this stuff that isn't really going to accumulate. Put things back into there. And then pop those away. Hopefully they haven't made more dead coral, right? So now... When I go from side to side, nothing. So the powering of the dropper isn't actually sending on a signal, which kind of doesn't make much sense. So let's try it with this. If it doesn't work with this, then I am a bit kerfuffled. Ah, that should have sent a signal. It's not passing the signal through the droppers. That's what's going on. Why? What? Does it behave differently underwater? I can't actually see if it's working. Are you there? Oh, I didn't put that there. Okay. Right. So for some reason, the droppers aren't working underwater. That is peculiar. I have not seen it do that before. Right, now it activated that one. Oh, don't tell me it doesn't work like that. Oh, what? Okay. Okay, hang on, hang on. I mean, I've built these farms before, so... Right, that does not work. Is that because it's a coral block and it needs sand or something different. I mean, I built this last season with sand, right? So, in theory, it will work with the sand. What am I not getting here, peeps? Do the ends of the droppers need to be facing into the observers? No, they shouldn't have to. That works. Why is it not doing it? It made a particle effect before with the coral, now it's not. Is it facing up? It's facing up. That doesn't work. What? Does it need 2 blocks of water above the sand coral? That is a good thought. Now if it does, I mean it'd be a bit of a pain to fix, but we can make it happen. Nope. Is it supposed to be a dispenser instead of a dropper? Yeah, because dispensers interact, droppers drop. Becca, thank you for gifting a sub to Tea Slurper. What a fantastic reminder to drink some tea. Appreciate your support in our community as always. What is going on here? Okay, I'm going to throw it over to the test well, because that's bizarre. That seems so straightforward in my head, and then it's like, huh? We're not working? Ah, wait a minute. No. Now that I think about it, maybe I did do things a little different. Maybe it doesn't work under the block. Maybe it works when you hit the surface at the top. Okay. In which case, right, so bone meal, like water. I think I know what's wrong now. Let's not even test what we've just seen. I think what I did last season was more like this. Now that I think about it a little bit again. Yeah, something like that. Maybe. I don't know. Now we just need some redstone. Ha! Right. You don't put it underneath, you put it on the side. So I'm redesigning the whole thing again. Gosh. Right. So now we need 2 dispensers and we need way less of this. Also, how far does the pick here reach when I go like this? I reckon a row of sand across the back might be helpful. So let's say we can't... Right, we can't reach that, but we'll probably reach what's in front of it. So let's go ahead and just create a wall at the back. Then we'll cut off some of these blocks. I'll take that back as well, thank you. Then all of this from down here is going to be completely changed. Right, okay, full inventory, never good. Now we've got pain in the bum note blocks to work with. Ugh, I'm going to have to open up a junk chest. Let's put it over there, since I'll probably turn around and put all the coral stuff in there at some point anyway. Now you can see why we play with the little hitbox things on, so we don't lose track of anything when we're out here in the ocean, in the water. Okay, so we're going to need... dispenser, yeah. So like an observer... I'm going to put it here. No, I've done it the wrong way around. It's always the wrong way around when you're placing an observer. Even when you're like, oh, it's the wrong way around, so I'll place it the other way around. It's still the wrong way around. Have you ever noticed that? Over here, though, it's not quite the same story, luckily. Right, now, does this mean that this thing over here was working all along? Yeah. Oh, okay. So, that is a dropper. Right, so I don't know what was up with the one on this side, because we could visibly see it wasn't working, but, who knows? Oh, I want it to face the other way. Right, now we go get this thing. Slap it down there. And we kind of got most of the system in place. Just the bone mill. Oh wait, and the dispenser. So we need an additional dispenser. And then all of this stuff can go back. And that's all the... Wait, did I put the dispenser back too? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then sand in here. I thought that was a sponge. I was like, where'd I get a sponge from? Orange, red, and grey. All full again. Right, so now, in theory... Yep, and the one that I want's at the very back, so I need to hold all the way forward. Now, I can hit that, which I don't want to do. And I don't want to hit those, so it has to be very sensitively aligned to use your pick. It's going to take a minute to figure this one out, isn't it? So we'll take those back. And I think we're going to need more sand blocks here. Specifically around here we want them. That one already had one, apparently. I guess these can all go here. Sand block there. Sand block there. Right, so my alignment has to be very precise. I don't want to accidentally break anything. I might even accidentally break the sand. We probably want a block that's better than sand over here, don't we? Notice how I'm also not hitting the ones at the very front. They will slowly accumulate as the ones with the smallest hitbox. Now, was that worth it? There's definitely ways I can think of improving this, but I'd say it was... Oh, dang it, we broke that. There are ways of improving it. It's also probably possible to automate this a little bit. So if I had like trapdoors at the front to hold the water into that space, and then I didn't have water behind me, I could... Why did I build this in the water? If I'd have built it above the water, it would have been more functional. I could still modify it a fair bit. What you can do is make it so when you come over to this side, you activate the water below, and then it pushes you all the way to that end. But then you need an additional line of redstone to mix between the two. I don't think I'm going to automate it that much. Wood would probably be the better thing. People saying use a minecart. Oh yeah, and you can use them underwater, which might be a bad thing or a good thing. I'm not sure. That's a really great idea because not only do the minecarts work underwater now, they might align us differently. Okay, we are definitely experimenting with that. That's a cool idea. And look at that, we got 7. Yeah, I also need a collection system, which is entirely possible. So this design is like evolving, which I like. I like it when you just have a silly little design and then you just start making more and more stuff of it. Let's take some spruce wood. Okay, gonna get rid of the sand over the back here. Ah, look, this actually creates those on it, and we can't harvest them. If they don't appear on the wood block, then that's a good thing. In fact, we could probably turn these to stairs, and that might stop them popping on as well. Blonde Beauty says, loving the chilled music. Me too, it's awesome, isn't it? Binky Co, thank you for the prime, my dude. Appreciate it. Right, that gets popped off. Okay, so we're going to try the underwater minecart thing, which means we're going to need more of those coral blocks. Powered rails, so redstone, that'll have to be cleverly positioned. And then regular rails, which I don't have. God. Oh, it's a chest monster! It's now officially a chest monster. How did it happen? Nobody knows. Literally a chess monster. Literally a chess monster. Hello? Let's drink some more tea. Detector rail, someone said. Yes, I was thinking activator rail. That's the wrong one. How do we make that? I think it's a stone pressure plate. I threw away some stone a minute ago. I can look it up in here, can't I? Nope, wrong one. Pressure plate, iron, and redstone. Okay, so where do I get stone? Probably just under here. Yeah, that's probably giving me a bunch of stone. And let's make detector rails then. I got the red. Yeah, I got all the bits. Then regular rails. Maybe I need some sticks. There you go. A whole stack of those. Right. So this might get double activated, which isn't really a bad thing. There's probably many optimizations that we could apply here, but since we're just building it out, you know, in survival, it doesn't really matter, does it? Might also want to have... Actually, yeah, probably want to have powered all the way. Because it's going to be slower because it's underwater. So no, we don't want regular rails. We want gold. Oh my god. It never stops, does it? Millie Boo, thank you ever so much for your Prime subscription. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Spectre Wolf says X do all the work and have 1 diamond and 1 diamond blocks. Hashtag sad life. Well, I enjoy doing the work for Evil X. Very rewarding. And like the derp coin's doing really great, so I got no complaints. Alright, let's go put these in the middle. Now they also need to be on the outsides as well. That's why we've got to pinch a few blocks here. Hopefully someone will sleep for us. Otherwise our chess monster will just get larger and larger with a bed. So we're going to put that there. And then this goes round the back. Which means we probably want to then put a wooden block here. Let's go over to the other side and do the same. Redstone contraptioning is fun. Especially with a new concept, like using a minecart underwater. Which means eventually I'll drown, unless we get that conduit. Right, 1 more block is missing. And we want it to be in the middle, for symmetry reasons. Right, here we go. The height seems really good. Whoa. We're skimming out on ones at the front. I'm not sure if we can hit them as well or not. I've got this thing attuned very down low. We're not hitting anything at the very back now. Because of that, I wonder if I can lower it again. It looks like it can go low quite a way. And now maybe not any lower than that. So if I remove the back row, then we might be able to pick up more at the front. Okay, and then we need a water collection system, which will actually be kind of easy and cool. And when I say cool, what I really mean is very cool. Okay. Definitely need a little bit of inventory cleanup again. God, there's a lot of redstone blocks in there, isn't there? Right. Now, what did I say about the ones at the back? Look at how that gets attached. Let's try and address that by bringing in some stair blocks. I've got a feeling that they might disrupt this. Oh, the chess monster, the chess monster. Forever a-growing. The chess monster, the best monster. Good times are a-showing. That's like a little Good Times with Scar reference for it. Oh, do you know what? They might be good sort of everywhere, because then you get less of them clinging to the wall. I don't know if they will disrupt harvesting at all, but let's try that. Ah, they might cause items to get caught when they pop off in that space. So if I flipped them, then it means the water collection system would have to go a little more over the top. That'll make sense in just a moment. So we're bringing them across at this level so we can harvest them. Vines is useful in Nether. Well, we're not in the Nether, so I don't know why you're saying that. Now, I want this one to stop me from clipping the dispenser, so that stays. And I think we'll give it another test before we do the water collection. Oh, look, it's got one on the front. If that blocks it from being used, that could be another issue with this. And it is blocking it, isn't it? So, this one on this side will work, but then that has that there. So I have to nudge up. Right, how would you prevent that? Because if I put any type of block in front of it, I'm pretty sure it's not going to bone meal the bottom. Unless it'll accept like a waterlogged trapdoor. Which might then mess with the collection of items. There's definitely an issue there that needs solving. Right, that either way though, that is pretty fine. Pretty fine. Who used to say that all the time, eh? Okay. So the next thing we do is build out a platform up here now. My concern now is that the water flows 8 blocks. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then put something here to block it. Or what I could do is then go 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just think that through again. By putting blocks lower down as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, music playlist is awesome, says Demo. Isn't it just? I pick the best playlists, I do. Oh, I pick things that I like. You should stop the minecart. No need, really. It's not doing any harm, is it? You'll probably collect the most of it while just building. It depends. Like, if I need to come back here and get a load more of these blocks, then it will be very beneficial when I come back. Anyway, I'm just about having fun. I really enjoy doing redstone-y stuff, right? And previous me might have been like, oh no, you're streaming. Oh, no, you got to be efficient. I'm just like, let's have a bit of fun. Mpanda C1, thank you for your Prime subscription. It is appreciated, and I hope you're enjoying the stream. Let's check it out. I need some blocks. There's some blocks that I can use. Okay. I need some water. Where on earth am I going to get some water from? Oh, peeps. Peeps, I need some help. I'm not sure. I've only got one water bucket. Where else do we get water from? Oh my god, I don't know. I'm panicking. Panicking like an Anakin. What? Okay. Oh, actually. Oh, no. The player isn't there, so it doesn't get used. Yeah. I knew that. I was thinking that it might get activated by the minecart. But then it would eventually fill up the blocks in front of it, so that wouldn't matter. Okay, so now you're going to see some magic. Magic the Gathering! No, not that magic. How does one fix that? I would have to... Oh, I guess I have to remove these blocks as well. And then replace them. And probably more than just those ones. This is how contraption building goes. You figure out so much stuff when you build it. And then when you go and make your tutorial, which is not what I'm doing, you get to tell everyone to do it in the right order. And they're like, oh, this is so easy. But then when you're live streaming, everyone's like, oh, you're a derp, you're a derp. Oh, you made a mistake. And it's like, hey, this is just engineering, peeps. This is what happens. Okay, we didn't just figure out the rocket on day one, did we? You know. It took time, it took many iterations. Basically what I'm saying is I'm a rocket scientist and you should shut up, okay? That's what I'm saying. Right, there we go. Look at that rocket science. That's beautiful rocket science. Now, I've got to remove everything and replace it. But this time... The thing is, it needs to generate water sources below. So, I'm not sure there's a water source there. Now there is. And then we bring it into this area. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how much it's going to spread, but I'll make sure that it does. Because we need to have water sources here that aren't just flowing downwards. Okay, so again, water from the ocean goes next to the dispenser, goes over here, and this should bring it all the way across. Yeah, that should all be water. So now what we want to do is make sure that it goes all the way back, and then the rest should figure itself in. I think I'm going to do this the super cautious way. Just make sure that it's pretty much everywhere at this point. And then that should fill in all the way across the other side. Okay. Ah, look, it is active. Oh no, it allows too tall grass to grow, and then it creates a source block. Ah, that really sucks. So now I would need the entire thing to be basically 2 blocks high. Which ironically makes putting the water over the top of it a little bit easier. Again, I'm having fun, I don't care. I don't care. So we have to revise. We have to revise again. Oh my goodness me. Right, so now what we need is something to suppress at this level here. I will go with trapdoors, I think. Dang, the amount of rebuilding we're doing here is just ridiculous. Oh, where'd that go? And we've got noises in the ear. Awkwardly was unavailable. Is here with some cheers and bits saying, love your content. Glad you enjoy it, my dude. Glad you enjoy it. Thank you for tuning in. Apparently that thing creates corals on the back of it, which is just mental. So, that is, right there, that is a coral growth stopper, essentially. Whoopsie. The water was pushing me away. So, do that. Now, we only want this stuff growing in the 2 tall water, which will be all of this space. So this will actually now start, like, at this level. Which means everything that I've built we no longer need. Which is just silly. But we do know that we need to build it 3 blocks back. We got Gwant75 here for 5 months. Thank you so much. Ella Spore says, your streams are great entertainment while I'm in quarantine. Thank you for 2 months, I appreciate it. Well, let's go grab these blocks. They're trying to get away, obviously. They're trying to escape my grasp, my influence. Right, I want to make sure I actually get most of these, since we're building with it all. Otherwise, it's just wasteful, right? And we got Raffy Warren gifting 10 subs. Happy birthday, by the way, Raffy. Appreciate you gifting subs on your birthday. Giving on the day when you usually receive. Definitely Nautus. Bluetooth Goldfish. Pandora's Socks. Warrigo. Iggy Ika. Serlino of Wing. Clickwell. Django Mortail. Ronnie Punk T. And Meccano. Thank you ever so much for gifting those subs, Raffy. And if you heard your name being read out loud, be sure to say thanks in chat. Speaking of Meccano, I went and looked up Meccano construction kits, and I was a bit like, eh. I have not found, like, another hobby. A while back I was talking about that, and I haven't really talked about it since, because, I don't know, I just haven't found, like, another calling or anything. So been kind of weird, so I just haven't really had much to say on that, I guess. But yeah, I looked up, I was thinking like maybe, you know, maybe something from like when I was a kid, I used to love like Connects and Meccano, but I went and looked it all up again and I was just like, I don't know. This probably isn't it. Anyways, we are redstone and contraption building, which is something I do really love doing. Maybe that's my calling. Maybe that's what I need to do more of, right? Okay, so now we need to increase the size of this little chamber area that we've created. And we will do that with buckets of water. Putting them all over the place. Making a mess, but also making a water pool in the process. That is a complete water pool, as you can see. Now this might mean that we actually need more blocks here that block. So I'll run an experiment and we'll waterlog some trapdoors. And I've just realised that, no, I'm doing things in the wrong order here. Oh, look at that, it pops it open. Of course it does. Do things in the wrong order. So now we need to fill this in before we make it too tall, which makes putting the water there actually a little bit iffy. So I guess I've got to finish construction of all this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See how it works now. Okay. Yep, we can do this. We can do this. Okay, here we go. Just got to remember to leave that one across the front. I think the one across the front... Actually, it might not be important. I think I can take those out. Ah, yeah, no, we're definitely going to have to employ some blocks around the edges. I've got an idea of what that might be. Okay. So now for the water that flows. This is a good sign when it flows over to the corner like that. Means you've done it right. There you go. Okay. Now we've got to get in here and take all of this out. And what I'm going to do is do the water bit first. So 1. Skip 1, another one there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of hard to see, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I should have gone to 7. Let's just go for overkill now. It would be nice if there was a way to like make the visibility of the block you're looking at a little stronger sometimes. In situations like this, it's really quite difficult to count and tell. Now I think I've got all of it, which is good. Now what I want to do is get it spreading. So I need 1 here. And then 1 over here. And then it should all be good. I shouldn't have to do any more work now. Just remove the blocks, in theory. And now we've got a 2-tool water hide system thing above it that's going to push the items over the edge to me. Might have to modify. Again, might have to make some sort of change over the back here. But you can see the items are floating out of the water and then coming over to where I am. And that is a really good sign that it's all correct. Now, the thing of choice I think we could use is iron bars. Let's go ahead and make some. So, first of all, I want iron bars here so that the items that come off the water... Notice how the water changes a little bit when you put the block opposite it. That's interesting. There you go. So they should drop down onto us. Then the other place where we need these... I now realise I don't really have a way to get up on top of all this. So the other place is going to be in these spaces here. And I think it's possible that the items get caught. Yeah, they'll probably get caught on the lip below the iron bars. But we'll give it a try. And we'll hope for the best. Okay, here we go. Right, we have done... Oh, I can't even get in there. I've done a lot of engineering, and now it's time to see if it will work. Are we out of bone meal? Oh, that... Okay. We need to stock up. That I can do. if I had bone meal. Chest monster. Oh, we might actually like run a little short on this stuff, believe it or not. That is entirely a possibility. So restocking it isn't easy, and there isn't a hopper hooked up, that's for sure. Right, get me in that minecart. Dang it! Right, here we go. Looks good so far. We're not quite hitting the one at the front. However, I'm aiming this slightly lower now. And I believe now we're hitting everything. So it's possible to hit everything. There's also a block missing on this right-hand side, I've just realised. Okay, now that dispenser has been deactivated, is there a way we can prevent that from happening? So here's what I want to try. Going to get rid of that and then put that in front of it. That'll probably block it entirely though, right? Yeah. I don't think there's a way to stop that. I think that's just an unfortunate flaw that every now and then it'll do that. Oh, it's done it on that side. Probably too frequently to sit here and be AFK for a while, right? Also, I might start drowning soon. Anyway, really fun little thing to make. I'm noticing, though, we're not getting a lot of the red corals. Right, they don't actually drop through there, and they do indeed get caught on that lip. Did I pick up most of them? I was picking them up as they came over, so they can get caught on here. Probably means it came up close. So the trapdoor actually needs to be flipped, and it needs to be on the opposite side for that to work properly. And I don't know how that got there, but it got there. So what can we use instead of these iron doors, peeps? Liger, thank you for the gifted sub. Appreciate it. Thank you for gifting this sub to our free Twitch. We also got I Am The One Who, 75 here for 3 months. We can use trapdoors very easily across the back here. And then where that... probably a lever where the dispenser is. So all of this... Every floor we've just seen, with the exception of the items being on the front of the dispenser, should be fixable. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Fence, people are saying. If you think about it, right, the stair block goes to the middle of the block. And you place a fence in the middle of the block. Now, a fence is not invisible, it has a hitbox, so therefore the hitbox will extend over the edge of the stair block, and that is a lip, and that is where items can get caught. So that is not a way to do it. Oh, this track is great, by the way, blocks. Really good one. Okay, so let's get in here. These can be waterlogged, so we'll go across the back. That solves that problem. Then across the sides we can do, but we need a redstone lever for this. Dang it! Okay, there we go. Redstone levers. Just 2. Actually, that doesn't work. Or do I have to power that block? Which might interfere with the capabilities of the dispenser. Because it's bud powered. Ah. How mildly annoying. Here's the thing. You can probably get away with iron bars here. Because look at the block below it. So... that'll be an iron bar. And that's that one solved. Right, okay. Gah. What a crazy contraption. And it's flawed as well. Like, it's inherently flawed for the use that we want to use it for. Okay, next thing is to seal all of this up. And then unleash the beast. And we're just going to rotate the direction of these, essentially. And I've run out. And now I've got some more. Where'd they come from, eh? Ah! Right, and that might just be the final iteration on all of this, because I don't think there's any other ways to improve it, really. And that is the flawed beast that is. Oh, I got a little bit more bone meal. Let's chuck that in. And let's get in there and use this thing. Right. Apparently that stopped. Oh yeah, we're missing a block. Forgot about that. Right there. Right, here we go. Here we go again. Turn it up. Bring the noise. Bring the noise, peeps. Good, don't hit the corals. And now I've just got to sit here and wait for it to break. Fingers crossed it doesn't break soon. It's working though, it's bringing me items. You can see in them top up. Now the red fire coral one, that's the one that I want a lot of. Remove the water from the minecart to stop drowning. That's not fun. We like the drowning. Do you know what? We probably could actually. We probably could drain it. But it means we move slower, which might be an important part of harvesting all the items. I do not know. The idea is that you'd use this with a conduit somewhere, right? It'd also require you to have a second row of trapdoors there. It might be quite possible to remove the water entirely, but me not too fussed about that. Oh, it kind of looks like the items are gathering above my head. Actually, here's the thing about the trapdoors. I probably do need them there, because otherwise the items might float out behind me if I don't pick them up. There's this row of blocks here that we haven't really thought about too much. Now, do I have more oak? 3 there. Oh yeah, and then I got another box. And there's oak in there, that's good, okay. Let's go ahead and make what is surely now the final modification. It's the final modification. Da, 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 da. Okay, no, please don't. Please don't! God, we've suffered enough, they said. Ah! That shouldn't have happened. Okay. Knock that out of the way. Put one there. Oh! Oh no. Does that, doesn't it? Well, that's actually quite fixable with redstone, that one, as it goes. So as we pack this away, let's get another one of those in here. Got my axe. Right, in all the time we spent building this contraption, I was after something in particular, right? And that thing that I was after were these corals, and I've amassed 27 of them. I'm pretty sure I would have got more doing this manually, which is amusing. Right, before this inventory gets too full, we'll put some things away. Okay. There we go, that's good. Right, now, can that be waterlogged? No. Huh. So maybe actually what I need to do is just put a redstone block there. Right, that should solve that problem. Let's get back in. Give it another whirl. And look at that, we're hitting everything. From front to back. And we're getting the fire corals. Fox FireX, thank you ever so much for the Prime subscription. Appreciate that. I see quite a few of the ones we want popping up here. That's good. There's another one. Maybe this... Hang on, do they keep popping up in the same place? Is there like a map for this? I have definitely seen red and blue pop up in the same place a couple of times. However, I'm pretty sure I just saw different colour pop up. No, I don't think there's a colour map here. I don't think there's a colour map. I need to bring this thing down because I'm not hitting the ones at the front. There we go. Now I'm hitting the ones at the front too. Now I'm going to start drowning. Right, so are we getting all the items is another question. Are any, like, flailing out to the side, going somewhere else? No, it kind of looks like we're getting everything. And that looks like a relatively even spread. Maybe slightly more of the brain stuff, the pink stuff. Anyway, this is definitely easier than going out and harvesting it manually. Alright? So this was totally worth it, wasn't it? In fact, this is perfect time for some interactivity. Where's the... Why is that squashed on my screen? God. Windows, what are you doing, eh? Oh, I'm an operating system. Operate properly. Was it worth it? Simple question. Yes. No. Simple answers. And, you can now vote and let me know. Your feedback is cherished, peeps. I do need to know if my time spent here was worthwhile. Let's see what the results say so far. Oh, look at that! And a resounding yes with 91% of the vote. Oh, you had faith, you believed. And we persevered, and it was worthwhile, wasn't it? Now it's 88% of the vote. Oh, some of you are just trying to troll me now. You're like, no, I want to say the other thing. I'm a contrarian. Oh, yeah. The 98. The 88% even. Right. Get rid of that one quickly. Then back down to the ones at the bottom. Dang, we're doing good. 200 votes for yes. How many people have we got watching? I need to have a look. We've got 1,400 peeps here. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for tuning in. Hope you're entertained and enjoying it. Be sure to hit the follow button if you haven't done so before here on Twitch. Get notified when I go live. I'm streaming again on Monday. Probably not going to stream over the weekend. I have house cleaning to do. I'm going out on Saturday and got some plans for Sunday as well. So basically, probably not going to squeeze a stream in. And that's fine, because we just did back-to-back Hermitcraft yesterday and today. And now we've got a reasonable amount. I still want more than that. Still want more than that, so we ain't done yet. Gotta aim that thing super low. There you go, that's it. Why not put a sign in front of the dispenser? I think that'll block it from using the bone meal, right? We tried a waterlogged iron bar and that didn't work, so I'm pretty sure any block in front of it will break it. Then again, an iron bar has a hitbox, or a collision box. A sign doesn't, but I don't think that would stop it. It needs to put the bone meal on the block, and the block is occupied is the problem. Piston. Yeah, you could use a piston to reset it every so often. That's not a bad idea. Just having a little reset thing below that independently activates. Yeah, then you could sit here AFK fully. That's not a bad idea. It might be worth contraptionizing this a little bit more then and thinking some of the design through. Like, one of the reasons that we have stairs at the edge here is to stop those sideward ones growing on it. But you can harvest the ones that are closer to you, so maybe you have like a piston pop up and correct the two that you can't. Ooh, apparently getting in here was bad news. Oh, now I just broke things. And there's that. No, wait, I didn't. Okay, tricked myself. I thought I broke things because I wasn't used to looking directly at where I was mining again. I brain farted, basically. Now you need is a conduit. Yes, and a conduit. Although we could make this so that you didn't actually need to be underwater. However, like I said, you'd move faster. And it might be that a slower moving minecart is good for this. It's hard to tell. Needs more testing. Whoa, it tricked me too, says Theosos. Yeah, oh, that's interesting then. Because I don't know, I just saw where the dark oak stairs were, and it just kind of felt like I was looking at a gap for some reason when I wasn't. Like a gap at the back. Or just have a bubble on the sides to make the rail go up 1 block. That may or may not refresh your thing enough. I don't know. Probably best to just test if the. I mean, it's probably best to test if it's necessary or not because. Oh, do you know what? You know how we made this all bigger back here? Funny thing is, where we've got these iron blocks here, we don't need all that extra space. I could actually put the water row in here and then chop out the blocks at the back, but I'm not going to. So this thing could be compacted a little bit. It doesn't need all that space at the back. That's just like a design iteration thing, right? Like originally we didn't have them there and then we put them there. Design is fun. I thought I broke some of them at the back again. But I didn't. Dang, how much bone meal have we got left? I'm just going to keep going until the wheels fall off, you know? Keep rolling till the wheels fall off. That's what Dr. Dre says, isn't it? And he's a doctor, so you've got to listen to what he says. If a doctor tells you to walk off the edge of a cliff, peeps, would you do it? I think we just found out. Oh no, maybe. Okay, we ran out of bone meal on one side. That I'm certain of. The way this thing activates twice actually makes it pretty efficient. I thought that was like an inefficiency, but if you look at the behavior here, you get bone meal on the way in and bone meal on the way out. You can maybe argue then that it would make more sense to make the size of this contraption a little bit wider as well, because if you look at how far that spreads, then again, by the time you get to the other side, you've harvested it all. So maybe actually it's an argument to put them closer together. So you come this way, right, you harvest everything, and then you get over here, and then you move through this clear space. So the dispenser could actually go all the way to that block there. Huh. And then you would basically be harvesting really fast, if you think about it. I'm now like quite fond of the idea of just going into a creative world and just quickly like sketching up a more compact version of this. Put the dispensers at the back. That would be a bad idea because we constantly mine. Oh no, we're not actually reaching the dispenser, are we? Now, if we move the dispenser to the back where we're not actually reaching it, that would disrupt something. It would disrupt the fast effect that I was just pointing out. Right, this thing's surely got to be... Dang it! 4 left. Okay, I think we're done. I think we're done. We've had our fun. What I want to do now, though, is quantify everything we've learned into a more compact design. And we'll do it in creative, so it'll be super quick. I mean, it took us an hour to do that. In 10 minutes, we'll have something better. I like frosted Pop-Tarts. Thank you ever so much for your Prime subscription. Appreciate it. I haven't had a Pop-Tart in ages. I don't really fancy those anymore. Done with my sugary snacks. I'm good. So, what did we just sort of quantify there? Bubble coral. Or any of them, really. I'm going to die because they don't have water. Oh well. So it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was how far it could spread it across. So then what you'd actually have is your dispenser like here and also there. Now you might be able to make an argument that we need less space for the minecart to travel back and forth. This was with 2 spaces either side, I believe. Let's go double check that quickly. Double check it. No, it was with 1 at the back, and that's because of the reach. The reaching distance. Now, in theory, it doesn't actually have to be at the back, because the reach distance would be the same. So, you could have... You could have it further away like that, and it shouldn't make much of a difference. So we have it all like that. Okay, so then we got the... Right, we need like a building block. I like using this one a lot of the time. So then you have your rails, right? Got powered. We're not putting water on the rails. And then we've got the detectors. And don't need that. So the way we did it before was like that there and then this one here. Let's go on the assumption that we can get away with making this thing like back and forth really quick. I think it technically works, so we'll do that. Again, we need something like this. So compactification is taking place. Then you're going to want your signal, and because we're not working in a water environment, we can get it to come over here. So that's a very short distance for it to travel. And we did that with observers. I feel like I'm missing something here. You come in and it's empty. You hit it. Something's different. Something's different. Were we using... We were getting like one in on the way in and out. That doesn't make any sense. How was it wired up again? Independently. Hang on, what on earth was I observing then? Because it made it seem like it was super fast. So you get all of that. Why did I think it was going twice? Ah, okay. It's because it leaves some behind. Ah, I think I got my thinking about them being close together completely wrong. Do you know what? I'm gonna give up. I want to do stuff on Hermitcraft because that's an error of thinking, and I don't really need to do too much more with this, do I? What do you want to see, peeps? Do you want to see me like maximize it in creative mode, or just crack on with some? Let's make it a poll. Let's make it a poll. Okay, let's delete. Oh, can't. Okay, something's wrong with the poll management. What's going on? I don't understand. It's not letting me create a poll, which is annoying. Now, peeps in chat are saying crack on, and I can't remember what I said I'd crack on with. Which one's crack on? The creative world or on the Hermitcraft? Yeah, okay, so I can't create another poll for some reason. Okay, peeps want Hermitcraft. Right. Hermitcraft it is then. Yeah, I got a little bit mistaken there. I was misunderstanding what I was looking at. Or maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was understanding it that you harvest it on the way... No, wait, what on earth was happening if it was there on the way in? I've got to do it again. So, I harvest on the way in and get rid of everything. I'm probably out of bone meal now as well. Ah, dang it. Yeah, look at that. So, it creates it when you move away from it. So, then you come in. Why does it create some more? So, maybe the first time you activate it is when you then get some on the way out. And then maybe there's a delay for the second time. That's peculiar. And that might still be useful for making it super fast. But yeah, no, there's definitely something to that. But it definitely doesn't stack up if you put them close together. So, I think I understand what we were looking at. But we'll move on. We will move on. And we got to take our beacon back with us. Puff a fish, puff a fish. Detector is hit 2 times. Right, but when you go in, the first time is what you harvest on the way out. When you clear the first lot, the second one gives it another boost. So it must be something to do with those observers having just the right amount of delay so that it kind of hits it twice. Which is an interesting observation to make, because it does optimize it quite well for the player travelling back and forth in the minecart. Uh-oh. Let me think about that big map. I think we want to head west. That's north. Oh, God. Okay. So I want to go south and then west. West being... Yes. Okay, I'm going in the right direction. That's good. Any tips for saving RAM on the server using the vanilla tweaks data packs? I wouldn't worry about the data packs affecting RAM because they're very small. And I wouldn't really worry about saving RAM because RAM doesn't have a big impact on the server performance. CPU does. Right, let's go back. Observer on and observer off, both detected, says Buggy Girl. No, the observer passes on the signal, but it detects... Yeah, okay, maybe that is what you're saying. It detects both the on and the off of the rail when you go over it. That being said, you go over the detector rail twice, so that maybe it sends 4 signals, and each time when it sends the second signal, there's already something in front of it, which could then make it use more bone meal if it grows a small seagrass into a large one. So it could be inefficient with bone meal. There's so many little like parameters and things to think about. It's fascinating. I do think you can get a little bit lost in those details sometimes when you're making contraptions, and sometimes you just need something that works, like what we made today. Because if I were like, you know, trying to make it super optimal and then realized, oh, it's using extra bits of bone meal just to make a seagrass too tall, then it's like, oh, now this is like inefficient and I need to change the redstone and it only needs to send 1 signal. And then in doing that, you'll probably find some other compromise emerges. Oh, now it runs a little bit slower. And then you're forever just going back and forth. F3B. I have a little bit of trouble hitting the F3, F4 buttons on my keyboard, just because of the new one I got. Like, the position is quite different, and I've had it for months now and still not quite used to it. The axe can go in here. We'll put that over there for now. Actually, I think that usually belongs in valuables, but that one's gotten filled up by something else. Right, so we need these blocks. We need magma blocks, which are... Actually, I'm not really sure where I put those, but that'll probably do to get us started. What else did I need? I think netherrack was in there. I'm going to fire up another Minecraft and go have a look, because I've forgotten my build palette. We collected lots of lava. Thing is, I don't think I put those shulker boxes back. Where did I put them? Maybe I put them over where they needed to be. Okay, let's have a quick up here and down there. They might not be in distance yet. No, I didn't leave them here. I thought maybe I left them here. Let's drop in over here. Okay, so I'm checking the other world. Oh god, right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Over we go. And right, now I can see my palette. Ah, yes, okay, yeah. So no netherrack, crimson and warts. Right. Oh, there might be some more resource gathering for this. Yeah, I want this stuff, and this stuff, and this stuff. These are the things, and then lava buckets. So where on earth did I put the lava buckets, eh? Might have chucked them into one of these spots in a shulker box. But apparently maybe not. Well, they're not... They were taken from here, I don't remember. But did I leave them in the chest? See, now I don't know where I put those. I wouldn't have put them just back into that wall. I mean, I took them from that wall. Did I leave them in the nether or something? Oh, I don't know my noises on the screen. Z Attack, thank you for the cheers and biddies. I'm glad you've enjoyed the content. Thank you ever so much. I appreciate your support. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Top row, back wall, someone said. Alright. Ah. Ah, you were there for the stream. Well done, my dude. Well done. Okay. So now we've got all of those materials. That's basically everything. Don't need that. Maybe the occasional nether wart wouldn't look so bad. Although it would need to be on soul sand, which I'm not including. Right, I also think it's time for a little bit of a sit down. I am going to just put the headphones down for a second and sort out my... Actually, no, I don't need to do it. Yeah, I do. I need to put them down for a second. What does chat say? What does chat say in times like these? Desco brr! And yes, we need to rehydrate. Appreciate that reminder. Can you actually hear the desk making that sound? Just a suggestion, but I think a crop field surrounding your base would be really cool. That will definitely happen. There will be crop fields around the base. I just got to finish building it, right? Alright, I think we're going to go into talkie time as well now. I had an idea on my mind earlier today that I wanted to try and express. And also, I watched a very interesting video about, of all things, those Raycon earbuds. And earbuds in general. Has anyone here got, like, some Bluetooth earbuds? Okay, this is probably like spoilers, but what is going on here? Someone is growing the world's longest strip. Someone's placed that. Simpsons fan says they are very hit and miss from my experience. There might be a reason why it is that way. This video that I watched was very fascinating. They're basically like making this point that there's like a huge emerging market for earbuds, like Bluetooth ones, as like the technology comes down in price. They're easy to manufacture. They're very cheap. They cost like $5 to manufacture and then get rebranded as something like Raycon, which I think ups the price significantly at that level. And the quality of them is like quite sketchy, but they're very easily replaceable. So when they break, like people just get new ones. And there's a huge market for it because everyone's got smartphones, but now the smartphones are getting rid of the headphone jacks, right? Peeps are saying $5. Yeah, no, you can buy them in bulk for like 1,000 a go, and I imagine these Raycon companies probably ordered tens of thousands at a time, but yeah, they're super cheap to manufacture, and so they're sort of being marketed as an upstream thing and priced high because of that. That's one of the things about marketing, is like you can just create the illusion of value. You know? Like value out of like thin air. So, with the placing of blocks and the creating of a biome, you have to tell a story. Our story, I'm not sure what it is yet. Maybe we'll put like these blocks closer to the original path blocks. Like a mix of these two. And then in the middle we'll have more nether warts. Or maybe, no, maybe more lava-y stuff in the middle. We'll go with those in the middle. So these things kind of like intermingle on the edges. With the occasional little bit of lava, right? And then we're going to have to... Oh, I feel like all of that should be down a level. All of that should be down a level. Dang it, I'm going to need a hoe. Here comes the chest monster. The iReal Alex is here with the Prime. Thank you ever so much, iReal Alex. Appreciate it. My dad often says that marketing is lying and we should stick to honest advertising, says why not? That's weird because marketing and advertising are very interchangeable terms. You could have honest and dishonest, both of them, right? And like, return to honest advertising? When did we ever have honest advertising? They used to sell like radioactive products to people in, I don't know, like the 20s or the 30s, right? Radium, isn't it? And they literally used to say it's healthy for you, and they just radioactively poison people with products because it was unregulated and unknown about, and they just lied about it. They used to tell you smoking was good in adverts. Like, then you have regulation to come along and say, nope. The problem with advertising someone is, with advertising something, is that there's always an incentive to say it's better than it is. And then that can extrapolate further to say what it's not. That wasn't dishonest, they didn't know, says Dead Sky Keezer. No, I think they knew. I think that's part of the deal, is that they were pretty, like, understanding that it was radioactive. Right, I'm gonna need, oh, here we go again with the tools in this game. I'm gonna need like 3 or 4 tools just to do a job here. And then place down 3 or 4 blocks. I need a bigger hotbar. Nugology is here for 3 months. I got Prime now. Awesome, dude. Awesome. That's good. So, okay, this next thing that I wanted to talk about is kind of a political thing, right? There's an idea in society that people who work really hard succeed, right? I think you might call that meritocracy, or to some people that might be equality. If you work really hard, you'll be able to make it, right? And the people that have made it and they're rich and wealthy and successful, it's because they work really hard, and other people are lazy, right? Now that might be maybe a bit of an extreme version, but that's an argument that I've heard and you've probably heard as well at some point or another, right? So when I hear ideas like this, I always try and, like, not get too radical if I oppose it, and try and understand the idea a little bit more and give it some credit, like play devil's advocate and all that sort of stuff. And I think there is a good argument, a good case for seeing that, yes, people can be lazy and other people can be hardworking. But I always come back around to this idea that society isn't structured in a way where it makes it so that just because you work hard means you get an advantage. And to some people, that's not so, and this next example might not mean much, but I think there is a lottery of birth. If you were to call me a success because I have built a YouTube channel, turned what I do into a job alongside a bunch of other people in an emerging industry doing this, then I would say, well, I was born into a lower middle class, upper working class, I don't know quite where it is, but, family in the UK with access to technology, always had a computer, and had an internet connection, where other people might not have. So if I were born in Somalia or some, third world country, surely the chances of me being able to achieve the same thing again is significantly different, right? There is a luck factor to success, says Geyser Age. I really do believe that. I believe there is a mixture of luck, and with that, hard work does, play a important role. For me, I think about how I got started and how it was really quite lucky to blindly walk into a emerging industry, if you want to call it that. I was not aware that what I was doing could become a job. It was just an interest, a hobby, and then all of a sudden, you started to see people in the same space as you, like, hey, I'm doing this full time, like, I can live off this revenue. And then it's like, oh, I would like to do that. And then, the gears tick over and you work really hard and you join in on what's happening. There is definitely an element of luck. The luck that I decided to give it a go, the luck that my videos happened to fall into people's viewing habits that were interested in what I was doing, right? It's a combination. It's always a combination. And I think that luck is probably a bigger factor than most people would like to give credit for. I think there could have been so many circumstances, even beyond, getting going on YouTube. Like, my friend might have never mentioned this game to me, and I might have found out about it 3 years later. And at that point, I might have not even bothered to play it for much, and might not, you know, my life could be completely different and I wouldn't even care about people streaming doing this platform. Who knows? Like, things could so easily be very different for many reasons is kind of how I look at it and feel about it. Everything feels like one big lottery all the time, just a big swirling whirlwind of chances and potentials, and it lands in one really unique configuration that could quite easily have been very different. So anyway, I was thinking earlier of like, how can you quantify this idea that that it's not all about hard work, especially when it comes to wealth? Because I was listening to a podcast and they were basically saying it's good to have billionaires, right? And I thought, okay, well, you can make arguments of like billionaires are productive people, creating industry, making jobs, sure. Can't take that away from them because they're a part of that equation. But, you know, I often think it's kind of like Nazi Germany is in the 1930s. If you take away Hitler, someone else goes into his position. It's not like he individually forged the whole situation and rose to power that way. Like, he is the head of a movement. If you cut off, like, I don't know what the saying is, but, you know, if you remove him, someone else will fill that space. So I can't help but feel like if you didn't have Zuckerberg, someone else would have done the Facebook. I mean, there was MySpace before it, right? And there were probably other similar systems emerging around Facebook at the same time. If you didn't have Amazon, I feel like someone else would have probably come along and come up with similar stuff. Like, it's easy to look at ideas and industries as like unique creations of an individual. It's harder to think of them as an inevitability that society would eventually figure this stuff out and be able to create this thing, this like next level of the human experience and society. So it's easy to put it on an individual. But anyway, let's quantify it with math is what I was thinking. Like, if you could like, let's say we're going to think probabilistically, how real is this, like, a chance of happening? So let's say one person accumulates all of the wealth on the planet, every single penny. No one else has any wealth, just one person. Now that sounds so extraordinary, unlikely, we'd probably all agree 100% it's not going to happen. Alright, maybe some of you disagree, but I think that's a pretty fair starting point. So from there you can go, okay, one person having 90% of the world's wealth, and based on how you think economics work and where wealth is and what wealth drives, you might be thinking that's still pretty insane. Maybe even one person having 10%. But at some point it will start to become more realistic, more likely. Okay, yeah, I could see the world set up with 10 people having this much amount of wealth, right? And so if they have, if there is a sliding border that brings you to saying that's okay, and then this is like acceptable, then surely you can look at how that could slide further and further along, and it means there is more wealth distributed in the opposite direction. So when you say like it's good to have billionaires, but it's not good to have trillionaires, right? Like, that would be too much wealth, because the sliding end of the scale is that one person has everything, and we all agree that that's just absolutely insane, and that would not work for society. So somewhere you got to settle on an amount that's okay. And in doing that, I think like you open up the door to seeing that it is the distribution of wealth itself that is the problem there, right? So then when you go all the way towards total equality, maybe you can see that there would be problems there as well, right? Because then the capital to invest and move things in a particular direction is incredibly diluted as well. And I'm really not sure what my end point of that is, of that like train of thought. It was just the whole idea of like looking at it as a sliding scale. Like, what does that mean for the conversation? Because we can probably all agree that one person have everything is insane, and everybody having the exact same share is probably pretty insane as well. So like, why is it that you can land somewhere between those extremes, and what is the reasoning behind it? Anyway, I'm going to turn it over to all of you now. But like 10 people do have 90% of the world's wealth though, says Tito Mido. No, I don't think 10% of people, 10 people have 90% of the world wealth. I think it's 10% of people have 90. The problem with those sorts of statistics is that they do change year to year, and sometimes like older ones get thrown around, but there is definitely and obviously a big skew of wealth towards an elite class of individuals, no doubt. You can't shy away from that. That exists. Let's put a little bit of lava and magma here as well. It's looking pretty cool. I like the idea of maybe having some of this go lower and have a little bit of the lava kind of leak out. So, not quite sure how to do that. Let's go get some more lava. Oh wait, we've got some. So if I put that there, yeah, that actually kind of looks okay like that. And that helps us bring it down to the next level as well. Hedgehog says, what exactly is being discussed? Basically, like, looking at the distribution of wealth as a sliding scale, because these, like, when I listen to these conversations about this sort of stuff, so often is it, like, divisive and really, like, pushed into a corner and people digging their heels in about, and less a discussion about, like, the middle ground, I guess. X said it recently about philanthropy. Okay, so that's another reason why some people believe that you should have millionaires, is because then they give away money and that's better than taxation, which it's one of those things where I think if they give it away in a good and effective way, then yeah, of course it is. And if the government is inefficient, then yeah, of course it is. But like, a government can do things effectively as well. There's like so much variable there. And I don't think you can just chalk it down to a hard line. Most philanthropy is a lie, says Mr. Crimson King. I wouldn't word it like that, because there's plenty of good philanthropy out there, but there's also a lot of sketchy philanthropy and like tax dodging, right? Like the spotlight gets shined on like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and how they put lots of money into these philanthropic organizations. And yet it means that they don't pay tax, and the way it's set up is that they can sort of leave money untaxed in these places, technically not do anything with it, and then take it out at a later date, which seems really like kind of fair. Mr. Crimson King says Bezos and Gates are the worst. You see, I don't like to engage with statements like that, because I think it's far better to like look into the details and understand them and be able to articulate them and, you know, share that with other people so that they can understand things clearly and come to their own conclusions. Because, like, you know, Bill Gates, I made a video on it on Xisuma Says about Bill Gates buying up land. There's a reason he's buying up land, yet it's easy for that to be like convoluted into, oh, he's trying to take over the planet and stuff like this, and you know, that's just kind of ridiculous. I'm just going to let that lava go down there, you know. I'm going to let it do its thing. So if you understand the specifics of why he is starting to buy land, it's because of the shape of the economy, the fears of inflation, and that he's hedging his bets and protecting his wealth by putting it into land, which tends to always be productive and always have value. It's less of a he's trying to buy the country and more of like he's protecting his own interests. Surprised he says, I wish we'd get rid of taxes completely and replace it with state-owned businesses and profits from natural resources. You see, again, I think that's one of, like most things, it's one of these, like, if done right, a state-owned business, sure. But I once worked for the equivalent of a state-owned business, and let me tell you, there was skiving, there was taking the piss, there was, like, a lot of getting away with it because it was run by, you know, local people instead of a company that would have been going around clearing out inefficiencies. Basically, they just had tax money, they had to like kind of hit a quota, and no one ever came round to see how they were hitting that quota. And so there were tons of like dud jobs and taking the mick, sleeping on the job. And I'm not exaggerating. And when I worked there, I was a hard worker, and you know, sometimes someone else would pick you up and drive you around and not do anything. But when I could work, I would do the work proper and like do a good job. But I saw so much like skiving and piss taking there, and like it was just the culture. And again, it was because it was essentially like a state-run business, not exactly that. I don't want to reveal too much about what I was doing, but yeah, I saw it. I saw what happens when like money is done a different way, when there wasn't a profit motive, when there wasn't, you know, like an overbearing force trying to make sure everyone was working efficiently. Something to remember, people generally suck. No, Twitchy Rexy, people don't generally suck. That's terrible. I don't think you should say that. That means any system we set up is doomed to fail. Power corrupts. These are such like null statements to me. I used to think and talk like this, but it just doesn't make sense anymore, because like history is full of just amazing people contributing to the progress of society and doing amazing things. Like, just think about modern medicine. It's literally a miracle. Like, it's miraculous how great medicine has become and how it has increased longevity of life and reduced suffering. And it's through the hard work and labor of people that cared for other people and did research, and, you know, groups of people figuring out how to better our lives for the good of everyone. There is so much good. And it's just easy to focus on negativity. And saying things like we're doomed to fail, it doesn't even mean anything. I mean, a statement that I could probably agree with, that maybe aligns with what you're saying, is that it's probably quite probabilistic that this society could collapse. As much as, you know, you turn on the lights every day, there is a pattern of societies in the past rising and falling. So it doesn't mean what we currently got is going to stay the same way forever, right? And if you look at it, it evolves with time anyway. Like, things transform. The 70s, the 80s, the 90s, they're all different in little ways culturally. And then things like the internet come along and innovate and change so much about how we coexist on this planet. There is, you know, a lot of change, and sometimes that change might mean the end of something, or it might mean a new beginning. There's more to do with media. Bad stories tend to sell better, so we heard more of them than the good stories. Yeah, we have a propensity towards negativity as well. It's like a survival instinct, right? You are going to pay more attention to the tiger that's lurking around the edge of the village than you are to, you know, someone being nice to a neighbour and saying hello, right? Like, you are hardwired to look out for dangers and threats, and that is potentially, like, you know, kind of working against us a little bit in this modern media environment, where a lot of us do not face as much hardship and suffering as people of the past have faced, and it's kind of like a blessing. And this is, I say all this because I you know, watch a lot of documentaries and learn about the past and how things used to be, and the more of that stuff you see, the more you keep thinking, hang on a minute, this ain't so bad. I know we got our problems, but like, people had to suffer a lot in the past. I feel like this little dip here should maybe have like loads of magma blocks in part of it. People die earlier now, says Kyle Dag. Nope, the other way around. Life expectancy was lower in the past. A lot of infant mortality dragged those numbers down. There's like a common misconception that people lived to their 30 and then they knocked over. It was more of a case of people lived into their 50s and 60s, but child mortality brought the average down. Right, I've run out of the crimson blocks. I can actually just bone meal with netherrack, so I'll go get some bone meal and some netherrack. That's what I'll do. Two things while we're chatting: bone meal and netherrack. This looks really good, by the way. Nope, education lies, says Carl Dag. if you're going to have that attitude of like just dismissing something, then you better have like a really good case for it, because it's very easy to be dismissive of things and to, you know, like if someone comes along and says, look, I did all this research and I figured out all this stuff, and you go, oh, fake news, or, you know, like, I don't believe you, it's a conspiracy, or whatever. Like, it's so easy to point the finger and cry some ulterior motive than it is to do the hard legwork to disprove what has been proven. What did I say I come over here for? Bone meal? Bone meal is actually down here. That's why I had that little instinct to come down to this spot. Hamp219, thank you for 3 months. Sketrov, thank you for 19. A9 Tor, thank you for 9. Tisexa, thank you for subscribing. Noogly, thank you for 3 months. And I believe we're caught up. I was waffling for quite a bit then. Quite a bit. Might leave the machine on and get some more bone meal together, actually. Kind of need to do that, I think. Is this going on, Xisuma says Big Mouth? I don't know. I don't know. I'm waiting for like current topics that I might have an opinion on to do that videos over there, because I reiterate a lot of the same stuff over and over again these days. Explorer for Gold says, for once I disagree with 50% of what you're saying. Feel free to tell me which 50% it is. I'm always interested in an opposing opinion. There are multiple ways of looking at things. Let's be honest, school's wrong. The shouty man on the Reddit forum is always right. I detect some strong sarcasm there. It's good for health, says Demo. I don't know specifically what's good for health. Oh, I didn't get the netherrack. Let's go get the netherrack. There is a thin line between a hoax and a Facebook fact. I don't know if there is, actually. That sentence needs some dissecting. Right, let's go... Yeah, there we go, netherrack. That's what we need. Anyway, one of the things that's got me a little bit excited is I've been really into learning about crypto technology and the blockchain and stuff, and how it can be applied to like way more things than just finance. And there are some people arguing that like we're gonna have a crypto revolution coming along, where all of a sudden open, transparent decision making and, you know, jobs that need to be done to run society can be sort of done open and transparently on a blockchain, and kind of like re-revolutionize things, which might sound a bit fantastical and out there, but things generally do until they happen. You tell people that everyone's going to be walking around with a phone in their pocket, instant messaging other people, and watching TikTok in the 80s, they're going to be like, okay, you're having a laugh, like what's wrong with you? and then you know, further down the line these things sorts of happen. But Dr. Ben Gortzel talks about using blockchain for AGI technologies. Fascinating stuff. That is general intelligence, and the A stands for... Oh, no, artificial general intelligence. Sorry, that's what it stands for. Artificial general intelligence, right? That sounds super... In fact, I'm gonna find that podcast, because that is like another thing I'm really fascinated in, is artificial intelligence and the possibility of like an era of automation that takes away manual labor, and maybe even some other stuff as well. Like super fascinating. I mean, artificial general intelligence could accelerate things like research, like an extraordinary amount. I mean, it could just accelerate so many things. It's crazy. Gay Sir Saj says, well, the crypto burst. How? There'll be trust issues without government moderation. Ah, okay, that's interesting, because it is the government moderation that is the trust issue to the crypto people. Like, if you're really into it, you are creating alternative systems of finance outside of a government that is pre-existing. Look for podcasts with George Hotz. I think he went a couple of times on Lex Fridman's podcast. Excellent. I will note that one down as well. I've got a Lex podcast, one to do with vaccines, I believe, that I really wanted to listen to. I really want to keep up to date with the world of medical science and vaccines and all of that kind of stuff that's going on in the world. So it's always interesting to listen to those ones. Are you going to use all of this money information for the evil empire? I mean, like, I've been using everything that's going on over here as a little bit of a light mockery of crypto and stuff. What I'm not into with crypto is this whole like get rich quick stuff, like scam coins and things. Like, that's all terrible for crypto. I'm very much interested in the underlying technology and like the potential that it has to just transform society in ways that are really remarkable. Like having the ability to have a public ledger that can keep track of information and records that can't be manipulated currently, right, and can be open and transparent is just, I don't think we even understand like how, well, the crypto people do, but for the average person, I don't think they quite understand like how massive that could be. The podcast I was listening to earlier today was talking about how you can put scientific research onto a blockchain and build in back chains of how one thing leads to another. So like if you're dealing with something really complex to do with physics and whatnot, you can kind of like break all the concepts down all the way back to the origin, to the more basic replicable stuff that an average Joe could do in their bedroom or whatever, which would really like create a fascinatingly open territory for science that can bring more people into it, but also make it incredibly strong and verifiable at the same time. I just, dang, it's so like fascinating what this technology could do. It was also breaking down how like some research gets published like with data and conclusions, but not always with the middle step of like, I think the guy described it as code, where you also have to share how you reach the conclusion, which I think, I mean, I don't know too much about peer review and how scientific data like that gets shared, but that seems so smart to not to like include every step along the way and not to like shield the conclusion or whatever. Like, because then it can just be openly scrutinized and replicated, and if that, you know, turns out to prove something false, then there's no loss, because, you know, learning that something is false means you can be in search of what's right now, right? Like it's like something you might learn at one point or another. You know, when you're wrong about something and you know it, sometimes you want to dig your heels in and be like, no, I'm right about this thing. But other times it's better to just like, you know, just admit it, because then you'll know what's right, or at least that you're not believing in something that's wrong. X, do you believe in karma? Says Cat48 is alive. I believe in karma as a concept that's taking place as opposed to any form of energy. I believe that if you go around in life treating people, you know, mean, being miserable and whatnot, then the chances, and by chance I mean more probability, like the probability of that coming back around to you, you bump into someone you were mean to once, means maybe when you need help or in a time of need, that'll come back around and the negativity you once put out there will come back. I believe it in a sort of rational way like that. I don't believe in kind of hokey-cokey force that's pulling strings behind the scene, you know, unless they find a karma particle and can explain how it works. I don't believe it in a spiritual way like that. It's to me, it's just kind of like a logic thing, really, more than anything. If you go around being mean, there's just a high degree it can come back around again. I think the last time I talked about this, someone argued that like they're nice to people all the time, and yet it never comes back around again. That could be like just a perception problem. Maybe you just think negatively too much, but like I'm aware that people like wouldn't agree with me on this one, but I'm pretty hard set on this. So that's the way that it works. I think the truth is all but the untrue. So you get closer every time you find something is untrue. Exactly, yeah. Exactly. That's it. There's no evidence of correlation between good behavior and good results. I mean, we're talking about a very broad concept here. So, like, I don't think you particularly need evidence. Just picture yourself, right? Imagine that life had was like a computer game with multiple saves, and you can just chuck in and start from day one and see how far you get each time, right? So if you go into those worlds and you go around beating people up and doing this and that, your chances of like going to jail go up, your chances of receiving bodily harm go up. Like, by chance I mean probabilistically, because if you go around harming and injuring people, some people ain't going to take it and they'll harm you back. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, if you, let's say, you know, you're playing a new save, you get your first job and you're just an arsehole to everyone, you just swear and call people names, right? Then what's going to happen from that point on? Are you going to enjoy it much? Because people won't want to hang around with you much if you're that kind of person. And so your life isn't probably going to be as fun and happy because you're a miserable person to be around. You know, like, so, you know, start another level, go and be super nice to everyone you ever meet, make lots of friends, do nice things. I mean, that's going to come back around. Someone's going to think of you and do something nice for you at some point. It's like, it's not an exact science. It's not like I gave you $10, so now someone will give me $10. But, you know, it'll come back around naturally. Like, it'll emerge at one point or another in a time of need. You'll bump into someone you haven't seen in a while and they'll take care of you because you were good to them at one point. You know, like, that's how I see it happening. That's what, you know, and again, not a hokey-cokey karma, just a kind of like a logical, if you're nice all the time, surely it'll come back round. If you're mean all the time, surely it'll come back round. And again, probabilistically, like, yeah, technically you can live a life being mean and horrible and get away with it all, but the chances have got to be slimmer, right? Being a good person... Wait, that one just whizzed about. Being a good person should never expect anything in return for being a good person. Yes, very good point. Like, you're not gamifying it. You're not going around going, I'll be nice so I get something in return. You just do it because it's nice to be nice. It's nice to be of service to others. Oh, there's some people saying Gem is great in my chat. Does that mean we're being raided? There's quite a few people saying it. Oh, we're being raided by Gem. Thank you so much, Gem. Appreciate it. Welcome all the raiders. To the Evil Emporium. What a nice place to be hanging out at when you get raided. Look at this. Look at this. Custom biome we're building. Gah. It'll also provide a little bit of light to the area. Oh, that's looking fantastical. It definitely needs some like vertical, bushy type of object here and there. I don't know what that is yet, but we can put those in later. So Ocean Spirit 05 is here for 3 months. Really love to hear my perspective. You're always so cautious on your opinions. Really inspirational. Thank you, my dude. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'd say, like, cautious, maybe not the word I'd use to describe my opinions myself. I'm just, like, the world is so divided on so many things. It's always easy to find friction and argument, and I feel like there's not enough, like, listening to one another and giving respect to different ideas, and so I just try and, like, understand stuff more. And in doing that, I realized that, like, a lot of the world is not really, like, wrong and right. It's so much more about perspective, and so we can learn from one another if we share those perspectives, because reality itself, like, to be described, doesn't really fit into concepts like wrong and right. It's like atoms and photons and nuclei, like, whizzing around in all this mind-boggling physics that, you know, we're still trying to figure out. That's what reality is. So, like, the reality that we talk about with one another, about this thing being wrong, that thing being right, it should be this way, it should be that way, doesn't really quantify into actual reality. And it's so much more about, like, one's own experiences and ideals, and when we don't listen to one another, we don't get to, like, understand one another better. and like see the reasoning behind someone who has a different opinion to you. Even on stuff that's like really, air quotes, controversial or hot topic, there's just too much of like deliberately pushing away from one another, I think. And it's because we're getting like further polarized, which can be frustrating, but you know, we can also, like, in the face of that, don't be polarized as well. Because I'm basically, you know, quite naturally inclined to be a lefty, but I really get sick of seeing on Reddit, because I browse Reddit every day, I'm sick of seeing people slam dunk on people who are dying of COVID who denied it, like who were saying it weren't a big deal and they don't want to get a vaccine. Like, it really upsets me that people are slam dunking on them. These people are dying, and the whole situation is awful and horrible, but like, why use that to slam dunk on someone? It really upsets me. And it's because of the polarization, right? And when you're in one camp, you tend to just think of everything on your side as right, and all these things happening as backing up your opinion. It's like people's deaths are sort of being framed as, look at me, I was right about the vaccine. You know? It makes me sad to see that. And like, what I'm saying is, although I lean in this direction, it exists in both sides. It like, neither side is like immune to thinking and feeling this way, and getting sucked into this whole mess. Ugh. Yeah. Wow, I read a message in chat I don't really know how to respond to. I'd rather die of COVID than the vax. I mean, no one wants to die. And, you know, chances are you've had a very different information diet to me then about the vaccine, because I am vaccinated and for the most part encourage people to get it. I do not believe there is any kind of conspiracy or anything dodgy going on. I believe it's a response to a situation, and one that I knew about before it happened. I used to be young and ignorant, and when the swine flu went around, I was like, BBC, you know, scaremongering, fear-mongering, it's all rubbish, there's nothing to worry about. As I got older, I got more and more curious in learning, and spent a lot of time, thanks to YouTube, like in their educational space, watching explainer videos, learning about, just being fascinated by anything. One of the things a few years back that I got interested in was virology, learning about pandemics and epidemics, and people who are actually warning that something like coronavirus would be the biggest threat to humanity, and that it was something that needed to have the alarm sounded on and sorted out. And then when it came around this time, when all of a sudden there were fears of it, I had such a different reaction. I was like, I've learned about people warning us that something like this is going to happen. I don't think it's fear-mongering now. I feel like, wait, this is everything I've been learning about, and it's happening. And that was like years before, you know, like 2018. I watched a documentary, I think with Hannah Fry, where they literally like went through a pandemic scenario that almost like echoed and mirrored everything we've been through over the last couple of years. And, well, couple of years, you know, since it started. And so I came into this whole situation with a far more educated perspective on what was going to happen than I think most people were. And that leads to a lot of, like, it's easy to distrust when you're ignorant to something. And there's nothing wrong with being ignorant either, which is, like, it's not a crime to be ignorant. You're born ignorant. And then you're going to learn stuff in life. And, cool, yeah, I just came into this, like, already knowing about it. So it wasn't a shock. Like, there wasn't that much uncertainty. When they started talking about all these different metrics of measurement and how things spread and like all the different terminology, I already understood it. It was weird. I was actually, like, if anything, watching the BBC and thinking, you're not really doing a great job of explaining this. Like, because they have to kind of dumb things down, which kind of irritates me a bit. Like, the mainstream media tends to dumb down a lot of these topics. When you watch explainer videos and like documentaries that go deep on this stuff, they go deep on it, right? And then when it's like a national emergency and all this stuff's happening, there isn't really like, at least it seems to me, like a big effort to actually explain. It's more like, here's what you're going to do, go along with this. And I can understand why people then get skeptical about this stuff, because you're sort of told more to follow along than you are to understand all the ins and outs of what are quite difficult and dense topics to break down, you know, immunology and viruses and all this crazy stuff. Let's read some noises in the air. Zydo's here with Cheers and Bits saying, huge fan X, been watching forever, it feels. Thank you, my dude. I'm glad you enjoy it, and I appreciate those cheers and biddies. Scorpy Loves here for 11 months. We got Live Twizzle here with the Prime. Zydo's here with a tier 3 subscription. Goodness me, we don't get those too often. As a tier 3 subscriber, you can actually join our Patreon/Twitch community by going to my website and clicking on, clicking on the left of the screen, it says Get Whitelisted, and then that will take you to the Get Whitelisted page. You can use your Twitch account to join our Discord, to join our server, all that stuff. Scorby Love, thank you for more cheers and bits. Oh, not more, that was Zydo, wasn't it? Scorby Love, thank you for the cheers and bits. People in my family have gotten the shot and had bad reactions for it. I take to meds and other things differently, so I'm hesitant to get it. I caught C19 in Jan, and honestly, I think the 2 times I got the flu was worse. Yeah, that's cool, dude. Like, the thing is, your experience, you got to remember, is anecdotal, so it's just individual. And the fact that other people have like gotten the shot and had bad reactions to it in your family is not necessarily a bad thing. Having a bad reaction to the vaccine shot potentially shows that it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's a sign that it's actually activated your body's immune response, because getting the shot and then having a reaction to it, the reaction is your immune system kicking in and doing something. So a negative reaction to getting a shot can be a good sign that things are going right. When I originally read your message, I was thinking you were saying that, like, in your family you had like well, I guess you can flip it either way. So like when you say bad reaction, I mean, if it's like, if we're talking hospitalized, really bad reaction, and to multiple people in your family, that could also signify that it's something genetic, right? That actually you might be genetically disposed to this, because there's no guarantee that everyone's going to be unharmed, and we understand that through using these things that unfortunately there are going to be a small minority, and the efficacy is that it's a very small minority of people that get caught out by these things and do unfortunately have bad responses and it doesn't work for them. But the thing is, the benefit to society as a whole is absolutely massive. And so there is that number call. It's like the, you know, the split train track, right? Where do you pull the lever and save 5 people, or do you leave it alone and kill 1 person? And it's kind of playing the game like that. So as for your hesitancy, you know, if it's a case of like a really bad hospitalized reaction, that's something you should be talking to your doctor about. If it's just generally getting sick and under the weather and it being a bit tough as a response, then maybe not something to be so hesitant about, because that's a sign that the body's immune system is actually going to work and doing something. I mean, technically you could maybe say, if someone had no reaction at all, it might mean that it was ineffective on them. So sometimes this stuff, like the logic of it can be really quite tricky to get your head around. But yeah, I mean, being hesitant is fine. Just you know, you want to find some like good information. It's hard to know where to point you to, because I watch all this stuff and then I end up talking about it, and I feel kind of bad that I like don't remember where it was. I think a lot of the immunization, immunology, whatever the word is, stuff that I watched was part of a Vox Explainer series. I think it was on Netflix as well from like years back, but I don't remember the specifics. I feel like maybe sometimes I should just like write this stuff down and have a journal of like, where did I learn things from, so I can sort of pass it on. What is the trolley paradox? That is the one that I just talked about a moment ago, right? I've had 2 doses and I'm now unwell with something else, and I'm glad I can have access to care and be valued to keep the hospital safe too. That's cool, yeah. Loved your Donda review, by the way. What was your favourite track on Donda? I think I said it in the review, right? It's, is it Jesus is Lord? God, that song's just wonderful. Yeah, what was the other point to what I was just saying a minute ago? Things being anecdotal, right? Like, if you know someone who has, like, a severe reaction to the vaccine, there will be people that have that. But, like, your anecdotal individual experience is not evidence of a trend. That's why they have to use data so much. And then, unfortunately, people get, like, skeptical and miffed about the data that's being used, and... like, I think people's skepticism shouldn't be, like, responded to with anger or whatnot, which is what I see a lot of online. People slam dunking, having a go at for people for being hesitant or unsure. That stuff's just not helpful. I think it's fine. Like, this is like a really unusual situation for all of us, and rather than people being mean to other people who are hesitant in some way, maybe we can find a way to explain stuff better and get the information across. Finaval says, I got the vax and died. It's true. Yeah, you did, didn't ya? God, you timed that message to go out. You knew. Zynax says, some people have got heart inflammation, myocarditis, and have died. Yeah, there is truth. And, like, that stuff shouldn't be hidden away or shied from. That is sadly the price to pay for the vaccines, is that, you know, the idea is that the number is going to be incredibly small overall. It's going to be like 0.001%. I don't know the exacts, but it is like a call that had to be made, and why these things are, like, produced under such rigorous kind of examination, right, is because we have to get it right to keep that down to a minimum. And if someone wants to make the argument that if one person dies, like, you should never do that, it's kind of absurd when you put it into another context of, like, should everyone drive should the legal speed limit be like 5 miles an hour so we can guarantee no one ever dies of road accidents, right? Who's going to agree to that? Because, like, people are dying from COVID, people are dying from car accidents all the time. And when you frame the idea differently, all of a sudden it's like, would you sign up for that if you really believe that we shouldn't have a vaccine, no one should die from a vaccine? All right, are you gonna drive everywhere at 3 miles an hour to make sure no one dies from car accidents, right? Like, these things, these ideas get, like, normalized and obscured in our minds in strange ways, because it's in a way it's kind of the same. It's something we're all doing collectively, that people, the benefit of being able to drive and commute like that means that some people will unfortunately lose their lives, and yet we set rules, we set ideas around it where, okay, this speed is okay, and with this speed, with these traffic rules that we've agreed upon, X amount of people die every year from this. And that number is sort of agreed on without thought. And then all of a sudden something like a vaccine comes along and it's all more upfront and apparent, but you might not think about how that contract, that idea already exists with something like traffic, right? It's already there. I'm laughing because you say, do you pull the lever and kill 5 people, or leave it and kill 1? I'm laughing too, because, you know, I'm thinking, where's the gun? I could kill all of them. Oh, Xisuma, you went dark. I didn't know you could do that. Oh, jeez. Jeez, killing all of them. What is wrong with you? Where's the nuke though, says Rafi. Now you're thinking. Says a derp, exactly, says a derp. Who's understanding me on this whole traffic idea? Since I heard that one blew my mind, the whole traffic one. Because it's so true. There are like contractual agreements in society where we participate and play along with, that you don't even think about. Never thought about like agreeing to drive to the rules, you know, passing your test and going on the road legally is you agreeing to that rule system. That rule system factors into people dying, you know? So if the rules were like, okay, everyone's got to drive slower so we can save lives, that's kind of like what a vaccine is. We're all going to do this to save lives. It's fascinating. No shoes, no shirt, no service. Yeah, seatbelts is another one that comes up. And this is like some of the examples that I'm saying, like the seatbelt one, like is the kind of thing that comes up on Twitter, where you see on Reddit people are sharing the old slam dunking. Like, this stuff should never be like used as a slam dunk. These are like invite people in to think this way and think about and see things differently. Don't play the slam dunk thing, because you just immediately undermine your own point of view. I see people doing it with like, you know, oh, someone's going, oh, it's my freedom not to get a vaccine and all this, and then someone else is like, oh, well, you're free not to wear a seatbelt, slam dunk, and it's like, well, that doesn't achieve anything. No one likes being slam dunked on, no one likes being told they're wrong, and, you know, there could be like quite a potential for quite a thoughtful conversation if you are to sort of say, you know, you might frame this in the context of it being about freedom, yet I don't see that you're seeing other things in that same light, like wearing seatbelts. That is just a normalized thing. We just kind of all get on with it and wear seatbelts now. Ironically, when they first tried to introduce seatbelts, there was people that were against it, talking about freedom. Same way there was in the influenza pandemic of 1918. There were anti-maskers then. Like the same things keep happening. Like history repeats itself. It's crazy. It's more like drunk driving because you're endangering others as well as yourself. Yeah. Yeah, drunk driving might be the one that works for you. For me, it works with both seatbelts, it works with speed limits, and it works with drunk driving. This is why, like, you probably don't hear me talk about, like, freedom in, like, being a sort of, oh, I'm a free person and freedom is super important to me. Because I kind of, like, look around at society and think, there are restrictions everywhere that we benefit from, you know? Like, ultimate freedom is, like, the freedom to do things without consequence. And yet, people are capable of doing heinous things. And so we have kind of like agreed rules in society. So we can go, yeah, we don't want people being free to go around and do exactly whatever they want. You know, that's why we have jail systems and laws. And of course, all these systems are flawed and they've got their shortcomings as well. I'm not waving the flag saying it's perfect, just that I never really like vibe too much with like freedom above everything else, because I kind of feel like not having freedoms to go and do terrible things, or things I might not realize are terrible, are good. You know, like when the sign says keep out, you might not know why you got to keep out, but you probably don't want to find out either, right? You know, you climb the fence and there's a wild bear ready to maul you. That's kind of like a bad example for what I'm getting at, but you know, sometimes, like, what's the old saying? The things you don't know, you don't know. There's sometimes there are laws that where you go, wait a minute, why can't I do that? And it's because you don't actually know about this whole other thing. It's what being in like the learning space on YouTube does a lot of the time. It just opens your mind to things. You're like, whoa, I had no idea about this thing over here that's going on, and like the thing you didn't know, right? Unrestricted freedom is anarchy, says McAdoo. Anarchy is one of those things where I think some people see it as like, no rules, run around, go crazy, and other people see it as a different form of organisation. And I think I prefer to try and take in the better side of an argument as opposed to straw man something. So anarchy to me is more about society being governed by people without laws that are written in stone in institutions, which isn't to say that it's like a free-for-all, but more that people believe we don't need these systems to exist together in small communities. I don't think anyone really advocates for it on a large scale, but certainly on a small scale, I think anarchists of that nature would be arguing that people's better nature is good enough for us to be able to look after ourselves in small communities without having to have big institutions of authority to control us or to guide us. KP1414 says Hermitcraft is capitalism. You know, some people like come up with really interesting ideas about what capitalism is because, sorry, what Hermitcraft is, because in other lights, we exist here on Hermitcraft without rules, without any of that stuff, and you know, like in a way, Hermitcraft might be more anarchistic because I can go over to someone's base and steal all of their diamonds, but I don't. There's no law saying I can't do it, and if I did it, I could probably get away with it, but it doesn't happen. You could argue it's more of an anarchistic society than a capitalist one. It's interesting. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. It's just fascinating to think about things in different ways. Capitalism is an economic system, not a political one. Yeah, it's about controlling wealth and capital, which is also a thing that's taking place. Like, there is things of value like diamonds and farms and production. There's loads of different ways of looking at it. But there are no institutions of law on Hermitcraft. There is no authority. There is no apparent rules and regulations to how things should be done, which is why you could probably make the argument that it's anarchistic in some ways. But I think if you were to really get down to the nitty-gritty and think about it from the context of the fact that we're content creators and that playing together like is mutually beneficial in all directions, then you'd probably come up with some individual like fancy term to call this place that I haven't even thought of. Right, I'm going to put that there so there's a bit of light in that spot. I feel like there should probably be one over here as well. It's quite nicely arranged at the moment. No one is sleeping in a bed. Are there no rules for creators when joining, like official code of conduct? Not really. It's mostly just unwritten rules. There's a few like technical things here and there or whatever that gets explained, but it's really just like gentleman's rules, you know, like just be a good person on here and all will be good. So that to me is definitely missing a feature or two. But I do feel like the distribution is good. You got more of the lava at the middle, and I think what it could probably do is like some lava coming out of the rock here and there. But for the most part, I like that. Now that took us about like 40-50 minutes. So I don't know how we're going to do the rest of this area, but what I probably don't want to do is like do absolutely everything as far as you can see. So this natural terrain here, maybe we put in like some soul sand valley type arrangement of soul soil, where the grass is leading up to these edges, and just create some natural border here. Somewhere in that, you know, there might be more shops popping up around here, we'll see. But yeah, we need to figure out like some natural borders. I feel like that cove is going to be easy to do, but then we can bring this to the other side of the path and yeah, just kind of get things like transform this whole area, which is what I want to do. We got Black Steel here for 3 months. Thank you so much. Chaos Monsters here with a donation saying, Hermitcraft, capitalism with the twist that you can always circumvent the market when you don't like it and build your own farm. Yeah, which, interestingly, can you do that in this society? Well, probably not with like physical objects, right? But in the digital space today and age, in this day and age, there is a huge democratization of access to entertainment itself. So like where Hermitcraft can circumvent its markets, so you build your own farm, y'all can circumvent us and build your own Hermitcraft. Did you even think about that? You probably will have, well, maybe not everyone, but like access to the game and the ability to record it because the technology, you know, the prices of things keep coming down. It gets easier to record and you can publish to YouTube for free. Imagine trying to get like Hermitcraft off the ground in the 1980s. Like, where on earth are you going to go to get this thing started on a budget of nothing, right? Like, obviously you need like a computer and a server or whatever, but the price cost is so low. So y'all, you know, can circumvent us and create your own Hermitcrafts together, right? How crazy is that? Like, Hermitcraft is that, and y'all can do that to Hermitcraft. That's some craziness right there. That's a great thought, Chaos Monster. Appreciate it, and thank you for the donation. Asumi, you started the stream explaining why you can't start your own Hermitcraft. Did I? I don't remember saying anything about that. In fact, one of the things I do say a lot is like, don't try and join Hermitcraft, make your own. Right? That doesn't mean make a Hermitcraft-like server. It means make your own experience. Do your own amazing thing. It might look nothing like this, but rather than dream of something that has a high probability of not actually coming to be, which is obviously joining this server, like it's a rare thing. It's a rare thing to happen. So like, start your own thing. Make your own adventure. Let's put the bone meal in here. Lurpex, thank you ever so much for gifting subs to our community. Big Mouth 435, Dougie YT, Shaky Snake, Happy Froggy, Ragnar the Hun. You've all been gifted subs. Be sure to say thanks in chat. When is the next episode, please? Tuesday is the release dates. By the way, I've been thinking in the future. This season I'm just gonna roll with whatever happens. But next season, I'm thinking I might take a bit more of a Rendog approach and just do one episode a week. Reason being that I've had to slow down my videos a little bit, the pace of them, just to get the animations in, which I am in no way complaining about because they're awesome. But it's also just given me some breathing space. Like today I was able to make that Minecraft account migration video. If you haven't seen that and you want to know how to migrate your account, there's a explainer video on my channel. That was like really quite refreshing to do, and it just got me thinking, I kind of wish I had a little more time in between videos. I tend to struggle to juggle. My words are all over the place now, aren't they? I tend to struggle to juggle. Making rhymes. I tend to struggle to juggle like free time and productivity time. I have a problem with like my mood swings kind of come about when I'm not being productive and I'm not kind of like getting on with stuff. But then that kind of swings me into like putting too much on my shoulders and feeling pressure or whatnot, which is something I have like really dealt with so much better the last few years than in the past. And to be fair, you know, I'm splitting hairs at this point, but I do notice that sometimes like things kind of wind up with, oh, I've got to get this done and get that video out, and maybe it'd be really great just to, for like one season, just keep it structured so I can be like, okay, one episode a week, and when it's done, don't put it out straight away and then it'll be like, oh, I've got to start the next one. Just give yourself that time deliberately. Like deliberately build it into the idea. And that'll probably manifest then with me using some of that extra time to make some extra videos. Like I've been really kind of like having an itch lately to get back to doing some tutorial-y stuff. Like earlier when we were making that contraption, I was like, dang, I could do a bit more of this. And I thought those two were right next to each other. I was thinking I could do a bit more of this and have a lot of fun with it, you know, like maybe make a little explainer video on it. Although those things like don't really do too well on YouTube anymore, but maybe just time to do some redstone contraptions. Could be great. It could be great. I didn't turn the machine on, did I? Is that still a redstone one? I think it is. I forgot to turn on the machine. And you do that. That is turning it on, I'm pretty sure. Let's double check. Yeah, that's got to be it. No, sorry. It's down, up, down. That's how you turn it on. I've been wondering if I build a control panel in the future, can I find a way to make a redstone signal by pressing a button, create what I just did, And then I'd need to hook it up to a T flip-flop to... Yeah, there's actually, like, the input of this, turning it on and off, because turning it off is just hitting the lever again. Like, that is actually a redstone challenge that I'm going to engineer later on. But as you'll see in my next episode, we have to solve what we're building around here first. And I got a couple of cool ideas for how we're going to transform this area. Right, now we had a load of these blocks back here, but yeah, that one was full. Chuck some things. Junk to junk. I don't care. It's all junk, right? Your tutorials, well, I started watching you. I missed them. They were very helpful, says Becca. It's always good to hear that. I really enjoyed making those. It was kind of like the staple of my channel for a long time. And, yeah, I just want to have that extra space. Because ideas roll around quite a lot for me. But it's always just like managing Hermitcraft. And then it's like... And then there's a snapshot. And just like all the time gets sucked up. So, gonna definitely try and pivot at some point. Maybe even this season. Maybe just from now on. Just like one episode a week or something. But we'll have to see where it goes. We'll have to see where it goes. Apparently Gem is live, which doesn't make any sense because we got raided by Gem. Anyway, it is the end of my stream. I'm looking for someone to raid. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated, and cheers. And as always, I appreciate your support. Thank you to everyone for gifting subs. Thank you to all my Patreons. We're going to raid Jono Smithers, who is Rendog's brother, who's making some music. So stick around for the raid. We'll catch some funky tunes. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you, peeps. Take care. Bye-bye.